Yeah, big day yesterday. Obviously, opening day in Major League Baseball, Benny. I got a couple things I want to ask you about that took place yesterday. Of course, if you want to get involved, EliteFantasy.com. Sign up for DFS in 2019. As soon as Benny is done with the basketball writing, he'll be right over there. The Dodgers, 8 home runs yesterday. This team have this kind of power?
I don't think any team has that kind of power where you're hitting 8 home runs in a day. But, I mean, you look up and down that lineup, there's 6 or 7 guys in that lineup that could finish with over 20 home runs this year. So, I mean, they definitely got home run hitters. The problem they're going to have with hitting a ton of home runs this year, though, is that ballpark that they play their home games in, not exactly the most conducive to the long ball. So I mean, when they're on the road, they'll hit some home runs. When they're at home, I'm sure they'll hit a few as well. But, to have a team with a whole bunch of guys hitting 30, probably not playing in that home stadium.
Lorenzo Cain with the play of the day yesterday, a walk-off. He robbed the dude. I don't even know what to call that. A walk.
Is there a walk-off rob? I don't know. Yeah, we got to come up with a name for that. But he's a great defensive center fielder. Like, that's the thing. People were like, "Oh yeah, they got him." Like, his bat. I'm not knocking his bat either. His bat's good too, but he is a great defensive center fielder, and you see how important defense is on a play like that. He basically saved the game for him.
Yo, son, where did Luke Voit come from?
He bounced around a little bit in the league. The thing that's great about him is he's lefty power. So that's exactly what the Yankees needed in the middle of that order. They got all those big right-handed bats. They need a lefty. DC actually, in his trolling in his tweets, which he's the best at, actually tweeted out Luke Voit is going to be the Yankees' best hitter this year. And, I mean, the thing I love about DC's tweets is they're trolling, but there's a little bit of truth to him there too. I mean, if he's going to be hitting cleanup in a lineup behind Stanton and Judge, who are going to get on base a lot, and even Brett Gardner, with guys like, Andahar and Sanchez, who got power kind of backing him up there, being that lefty bat that breaks it up, he could have a very big season this year.
I had a couple dollars yesterday on Gary Sanchez to hit a home run. I should have put that money on Luke Voit to hit a home run. But Gary Sanchez actually, I'm in the crib. I hear the crack of the bat. I know he's at the plate. I hear the crack of the bat. TV. I see the bat flip, and I'm like, here we go.
Yep.
He bat flipped for a ball he hit to the warning track, Benny.
Yeah. The Yankees yesterday had a couple of those warning track ones. I know Stanton had one as well, about an inning or two later from the one or an inning or two earlier than the one you're talking about. So there were a couple guys in the Yankees that gave the ball a ride. This is going to be a team that hits a lot of home runs this year. It's going to be a lot of fun going to the Bronx and watching games.
No doubt about that. Is it going to be fun going to Target Field to watch a game if Jose Berrios is on the mound?
Yeah. I mean, the kid is electric. I mean, we talked about it. He's got some of the best stuff in the league. He's just been a little bit erratic, which is to be understood with young pitchers. Like, that happens a lot of times with young pitchers. But when they have everything together, you see what they can do. He pitched well yesterday, man. This kid is going to be a stud. I know there were a lot of guys that were high on him in season-long leagues, taking him ahead of some other guys that, I thought had a little bit better track record. But so far, so good. They look like the smartest guys in the room.
Chris Sale rocked in 3 innings of work.
So our buddy Mike Florio actually tweeted this out early in the start. His first couple of fastballs weren't even hitting 90 miles an hour. Now, this is a guy who was consistently 95, 96 last year with that fastball. I don't know if he's just not ramped up, if it was a dead arm thing, if something just happened yesterday, but keep an eye on that going forward, because Chris Sale throwing a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, coming back with a slider a couple percentage points below in his off-speed pitch, that's going to be a tough guy to hit. Chris Sale throwing 89, 90, that's batting average. That's batting practice balls. Yeah, I mean,
practice fastball for a team like the Mariners in that big ballpark out there. So obviously, if you are a Chris Sale owner, you want to see that velo get up as the season moves along. Full slate of baseball coming up tonight. Matter of fact, season-long fantasy baseball players, fantasyguru.com. Man Settler and Ray Flowers got you covered all season long. Why does Major League Baseball do this? Why would you have opening day yesterday, full of day games? 1 day later, you have a full slate of games that start at 7 p.m., the same time as a damn Sweet 16. You had the entire sports day from noon to 7 to yourself, and Major League Baseball drops the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought that it would make some sense for them to throw some day games here. I know I was watching the Yankee game when I was done with all my work and everything yesterday before I had to go pick the kids up from school. I'm sure there was a lot of other people watching the Yankee game in the middle of the day yesterday, especially in our area, or the Mets game even, if you were a Mets fan. They were both on at the same time. You had the Phillies game that started at like 3 or 4 o'clock, so you had the big ticket, big free agent, and
Right.
Bryce
So,
Harper
yeah.
there. Yeah, I mean, I thought they did that well for opening day. You could have done the same thing here today too, especially because they know. I mean, listen, I'm running out of wall space to put TVs up here, so I can't put another one up. And honestly, the big TV is going to have the NCAA game on. The second TV is going to have the other NCAA game on. I'm going to wind up watching a little bit of baseball on like my laptop or on my phone. That's going to be what winds up happening. So
They had the whole daytime to get it done, though. You know what I'm saying?
I would have had one on the big TV, one on the little TV, like I did yesterday with the Mets and the Yankee games.
No doubt about that. Last night in the NBA, the Denver Nuggets, man, they lost by 28 points, but they let me down. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get off this Nugget team after that performance last night, but they got another big one tonight going to OKC.
I meant to ask you about that. I wanted to see because you said yesterday, like, are the Nuggets for real? Are they going to go out there and beat Houston and kind of let everybody know that they're for real this year?
They didn't.
They were frauds. Yeah, they were frauds yesterday, man. They did not get the job done. I can't see how it's going to be any easier for them tonight against OKC. The one thing I'll say, they're one game back of Golden State right now after that loss yesterday. OKC is in 7th place. They haven't clinched yet. I think they need either 1 or 2 more wins or a Sacramento loss or 2, and they clinch that playoff spot. But they're down there with, like, San Antonio, I think, is like a half game ahead of them or a half game behind them. And then you have the Clippers and Utah that are 1 game ahead. So OKC is fighting for anywhere between the 4 seed and the 8 seed, depending on how they do these last – I think they have 6 or 7 games left or so. So this is a game that OKC probably needs more than Denver does.
Yeah, no doubt. I can agree with you on that. I just don't see Denver getting a drag back to back. Hey, listen, Denver Nuggets. This is it. You getting my money tonight, and if you don't turn it around, guess what? We're done. It's over. I ain't gonna bet you no more. Period.
I didn't.
That's how I am. I'm petty like that.
Yeah, I didn't look too deep into the minutes played last night in that game. Before I bet them, I'd want to see that some of the starters didn't play their normal minutes. That would actually be a good thing if you saw like 26, 28 minutes for a guy like Jokic or something like that. Because then you know that they kind of were like, all right, this game's done. We're saving you guys for tomorrow. Tomorrow's the game we're going to go after. Little things like that when you look at the box scores are something that gives me more faith in the team if I'm betting them on the tail end of a back-to-back.
Shout out to Manu Ginobili. Retirement ceremony. Jersey goes to the Raptors last night in San Antonio. Manu Ginobili, the creator of the Euro step, Benny.
I don't know about the creator, but one of the masters of it, one of the guys that made everybody realize how effective that move can be. I'll tell you what, man, I've always been a big Manu Ginobili fan. I have an Argentina team Manu Ginobili jersey from back in the day that I used to rock when I was playing ball.
Nice, Manu Ginobili. I would say maybe the second best international player. I would only put Dirk Nowitzki in front of him.
I mean, he's got more rings than Dirk does, but I see the thing a lot of people don't realize about Ginobili though. Ginobili on the world stage, like in the Olympics and in the World Basketball Championships and stuff like that, he had some big games. I mean, even to the point where like they beat the U.S. team and they took home some gold medals while he was there. Like that's how good he was for Argentina. So I've always been a big Manu Ginobili fan. I loved him with the Spurs. I loved the way the Spurs used to use him too, where he was the guy for the second unit, where they just put the ball in his hand and said, "Here, go make something happen for us."
Rock with it. Y'all, yesterday came out that we saw the situation back in Utah a couple weeks ago with Russell Westbrook. But on Chris Hayes' podcast, DeMarcus Cousins was like, last time I was in Boston, somebody called me the N-word. Team, staff, we pointed them out. Dude was removed from the building.
Mm-hmm.
We saw a situation in Utah. Utah actually banned 2 fans from life for saying less harsh things to Russell Westbrook. But it comes out yesterday in good old Boston, they gave the fan a year, the rest of this season, and all the next season. And then you're welcome to come back to Boston TD Bank Arena to spend your money. Sometimes I feel like Boston is in Mississippi, Benny. We talked about this earlier this week.
Yeah, we did talk about this earlier this week. I mean, it reminds me of the old joke, right? Like there was a Ku Klux Klan meeting and a guy from the North came down and they were like, "What are you doing here, Yankee?" And he was like, "Yo, it's cool. I'm from Boston." And they were like, "All right,
Oh, yeah.
let's hang out." But, either way, I mean, we talked about this last week. Like you said, there's a lot of black players that don't want to go play in Boston because it has it has the tag as being kind of a racist town, and stuff like this happening doesn't help that at all. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is a guy who's going to be a free agent at the end of this year again because he only signed a one-year deal with the Warriors. This is a guy that would honestly fit exactly what the Boston Celtics need with all those perimeter players out there and Al Horford, who's really more of a power forward. This would have been a guy who fit perfectly with them. You think DeMarcus Cousins is going to go sign in Boston no matter how much of that Kyrie money's available?
Nope.
Hell no, not after something like this. So, you can think it's funny and all that and that it's not a big deal, but Boston fans, you just lost a guy that probably could have been the one piece that you really needed to push this team over the top.
There you go right there. My big piece of chicken, Benny, I'm going to go ahead and give it to one Manu Ginobili on his career. What you got?
Yo, I'm going Ryan Klein, man. Did you watch that Purdue game?
That was
kid
wow,
was fire last night. He was hitting them from 5 feet behind the line. He was hitting through the leg step back ones where he jumped behind the 3-point line. He was hitting them at big points in the game where they were down a couple points at the end, and they really needed those shots. Might have been the best shooting night of his life for Ryan Klein. I know it was his career high in points, but, yo, you stepped up at the right time, son. Good for you, man. That was a hell of a game.
Klein gets the big piece of chicken from Benny. Benny, what we got on deck? I know we got some good stuff on deck for the weekend, so definitely looking for the work coming out tonight as you get ready to write for the NBA. EliteFantasy.com. Don't forget GuruElite.com for your betting purposes. For my main man, Benny Ricciardi, I'm Corey Parson, the Fantasy Executive. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Opening line. We out.